Hey guys, Jim here with another video for you. This is 50 Years in Film, my favorite 10 films from 1986 and 1987. I know I was going to drop these one day at a time, but quite frankly, I'm speeding this up to get this done through the weekend because I'm going to need more time to figure out my top 25 for the decade because this whole process has been maddening. But before we begin, if you would be so kind at the end of this video, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, possibly a subscribe, and most importantly, please give me your comments. Let me know what your favorite films are from these years, I should say. So anyways, as usual, the normal caveats. These are only the films that I include on Blu-ray that I have in my collection. I am not including anything that I own on DVD or movies that I do not own. Number two, these are simply my favorite films from these years, not necessarily the best films from these years. And we're just going to go right through this. So starting in 1986, number 10 for my Star Trek collection, Star Trek Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, directed by Leonard Nimoy and starring the original iconic cast. This is the one with the whales. And I know in the original video I made it sound like I didn't really like this movie. That's not true. I really do like this movie. Therefore, it is ranked number 10 for that year. But yeah, it's a very good movie. Very entertaining. Very fun. So that's number 10. Number 9, Highlander. Starring Christopher Lambert, Clancy Brown, Sean Connery. Directed by Russell Mulcahy. Number 8, Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive, aka Cocaine the Movie. I'm sorry, I cannot resist it. It's like a nervous tick. Starring Emilio Estevez, Pat Hingle, in an over-the-top soundtrack by AC/DC. Number 7, John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Starring Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, and James Hong. Top 5. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Number 6, Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. Starring Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, and Ken Faree. Now we're at the top 5. Number 5, Manhunter. Directed by Michael Mann and starring William Peterson, Tom Noonan, and Brian Cox. Number 4, Oliver Stone's Platoon. Starring Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, and Willem Dafoe. Winner of Best Picture that year. Number 3, Rob Reiner's Stand By Me. Starring Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, Kiefer Sutherland, and the late, great River Phoenix. Number 2, Aliens. Directed by James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen, and the late, great Bill Paxton. And number 1, my favorite movie from 1986, David Cronenberg's The Fly. starring Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, and John Getz. Absolutely love this movie. It's a masterpiece. So to recap, number 1 is The Fly. Number 2 is Aliens. Number 3, Stand By Me. Number 4, Platoon. Sorry about the shadows, guys. Number 5, Manhunter. Number 6, From Beyond. Number 7, Big Trouble in Little China. Number 8, Maximum Overdrive. Number 9, Highlander. And number 10, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Okay, moving right along. Here's my 10 favorite films from 1987. Number 10, The Hidden. Directed by Jack Shoulder and starring Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Nouri. Number 9, and this was not included on the video because I didn't get it yet, Inner Space. Directed by Joe Dante and starring Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan. Had a brain fart, sorry. Number 8, Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. Starring Matthew Modine and R. Lee Ermey. Number 7, Predator. Directed by John McTiernan and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and the late Carl Weathers. Number 6, Lethal Weapon. Starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and Crazy Gary Busey. Directed by Richard Donner. Number 5, The Lost Boys. Directed by Joel Schumacher and starring Corey Haim, Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, and Diane Wiest. Or I'm sorry, The Lost Boys was yeah, I'm right. Next, Evil Dead 2. Directed by Sam Raimi and starring Bruce Campbell. Top 3. Number 3, Brian De Palma's The Untouchables. Starring Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro, Sean Connery, and Andy Garcia. Number 2, Rob Reiner's The Princess Bride. Starring Carrie Elways, Mandy Patinkin, Andre the Giant, and Robin Wright. And my favorite movie from 1987, Paul Verhoeven's RoboCop. Starring Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Ronnie Cox, and Kurtwood Smith as Clarence Boddicker, one of the best villains of the 80s, in my opinion. And this movie also includes my favorite scene in any 80s movie. Like my friend Mr. Dan in Horror pointed out to me, when Emil gets obliterated after falling into the toxic waste and gets hit by Clarence's car. Without a doubt, my favorite scene in any movie from the 80s. But to recap, 1987, we have number 1 is RoboCop. Number 2 is Princess Bride. Number 3 is The Untouchables. Number 4 is Evil Dead 2. Number 5 is The Lost Boys. Number 6 is Lethal Weapon. Number 7 is Predator. Number 8 is Full Metal Jacket. Number 9 is Inner Space. And number 10 is The Hidden. And that wraps up 1986 and 1987. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Tomorrow I'm going to do the last 2 videos and wrap up this series and take a couple of days off to figure out what I'm going to do for the top 25 of the 80s. And then after that video, we will continue on throughout the 50 years of film, starting with 1990. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a subscribe, and leave those comments. I really hope to hear from you soon, and we'll see you on the next one.